Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy. We usually talk about sex education on this channel, sometimes relationships and being yourself and all that good stuff. So subscribe, you might like it, you never know. So I mentioned relationships there, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Dating specifically, and body language on dating. So if you've been on a date before, sure you have, then you're probably worried about what the other person thinks of you and if the date's going well, and how on earth are you supposed to know about that? Well, one of the ways that you can tell if somebody's into you is body language. I'm not talking just about whether they're laughing or they're happy or smiling. Those are good things, but they're not necessarily into you. They're not necessarily wanting to go on another date or anything like that. The things you need to look out for are kind of gestures and if they're in sync with you, because those are the kind of involuntary things which happen. You have no control really over your reactions. So the first thing to look out for are open gestures. So, somebody who hasn't got their bag or their phone or whatever in front of them, kind of shielding them from you. They haven't crossed their arms, in this kind of defensive manner, and they're using kind of open hand gestures, kind of moving their arms, talking with their hands. It's very open and it makes them look like a very honest person. So if they're quite animated, talk with their hands a lot, have a good body kind of fluidity when they're talking, then that's good. That's good news because they're into you. They actually want to talk to you. The next one we all know about is eye contact. If somebody is looking away and not really looking at you, looking down on the floor or over your shoulder or whatever, then they're probably not into you very much. But it's not just about staring somebody in the eye. Eye contact is about those glances. So it's all right if they look down at their drink, but it's when they look up at you like that. Those fleeting glances, that involuntary eye contact that you have with somebody. Usually, by the way, people look at your mouth when you're speaking because it's easier to understand somebody, especially in a loud bar or somewhere where it's not easy to hear somebody. So eye contact is actually an involuntary and appropriate action for when you like somebody, when you're fancying them. It's that look which kind of makes your heart skip a beat, that is quite obvious when you see it that they really like you. Another way of telling whether you are in sync with your date is to see if you make similar hand gestures and motions. So people say sometimes that you mirror your date if you like them. So you might be playing with your hair or you pick your drink up at the same time. And that's the important point. It's at the same time. It's your synchronicity which is important. I don't mean literally at the same time, but they just don't realise that they're doing the same thing as you. So, you scratch your ear and they scratch their ear. It's said that body language is 10 or 12 times as powerful as spoken language. But don't forget that spoken language. It's important what you say because you can't just be somebody who is on the other side of the table and having a date with somebody. You've got to be at least interesting to them. You don't have to be interesting to every single date you ever have. Not all of them are going to find you interesting. But the reason why people will start to like you and fancy you is if you have commonality with them. So the real test of if a date is going well or not is if you forget everything I said by about a quarter of the way through. That means that you're having a good time, that you're into the person that is sat across from you. And hopefully they are into you as well. But also all of the things I've said about body language is stuff that you can think about doing yourself. You can feel yourself being more open in your gestures, for example. And that means you fancy them, which, is useful in a date, you think. So I hope your next date goes well, is lovely and dreamy, and that you forget all about this video because that means it's been great. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, then give it a thumbs up. You can do that just down below. I make videos more or less every single week, so subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when I upload my next video, and I will therefore see you next time. Bye-bye.